Geometry and symmetry in Indian architecture. The profound world of geometry and symmetry in Indian architecture. How these mathematical principles are not just design tools, but are gateways to spiritual expression and cultural identity. Indian architecture is not merely a visual spectacle. It's a reflection of complex ideas, profound philosophies, and timeless religious beliefs. In the process of understanding geometry in Indian architecture, one encounters how ancient civilizations perceive space and the cosmos. In India, the idea of geometry was tied deeply to the spiritual beliefs of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, Hinduism or Indic religion, amongst many. Sacred geometry can be traced back to the Sulba Sutras, a collection of ancient texts that date back to around 800 BCE to 200 BCE, where these texts are considered the first available texts of geometry and mensuration. They provide rules for the construction of altars for religious ceremonies, and geometric symbols like the mandala and the lotus served as metaphors for cosmic order and spiritual balance.
The layout of Indian temples varies by place and time, but typically includes the following features. Shikhara, which is called in the northern part of India, is a spire that rises from the temple's center core and is curved. In South India, it is called a vimana and is pyramidal. Garbhagriha, meaning womb house in Sanskrit, is a cave-like chamber that houses the temple's major image. Mandapa, the temple's main entrance, which may be a portico or a colonnaded hall. Antarala is a vestibule that connects the Garbhagriha and Mandapa. Jagati is a raised platform where devotees can sit and pray. Vahana, the primary deity's vehicle, located alongside the standard pillar, or the vuaj. Amalika, a stone-like disc visible at the temple's summit, especially common in northern Indian temples. Symmetry is central to Hindu temple architecture, serving as a metaphor for cosmic order. The Garbhagriha, or the sanctum sanctorum of a temple, is often aligned with the cardinal points, emphasizing the connection between the human and the divine, the earthly and the celestial. Take a closer look at the temple complex of Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh. The temple spires rise in a tiered pattern, reaching toward the heavens, but at the core of these designs is a deep geometric symmetry. The mandala, a sacred geometric design, governs the layout of these temples. It's almost like these temples are not just physical spaces, but representations of the universe itself. Every temple is an attempt to mirror divine perfection through human craftsmanship. One of the most remarkable examples of geometry and symmetry in Indian architecture is the Sun Temple at Konark, built in the 13th century. This temple is a physical manifestation of cosmic geometry, with every element symbolizing the passage of time and celestial movement. The temple itself is designed in the shape of a massive chariot, symbolizing the sun god Surya's journey across the sky. Its 24 intricately carved wheels, each a marvel of geometric precision, represent the hours of the day. These wheels also function as sundials, a perfect marriage of art, geometry, and science. The radial symmetry of the wheels highlights how the architects of Konark saw geometry not just as a design element, but as a reflection of cosmic order and temporal flow.
To understand the foundation of symmetry and geometry in Indian architecture, we also need to look at the ancient science of Vastu Shastra. Vastu Shastra is an ancient Indian treatise on architecture, dating back over 5,000 years. It's the Indian equivalent of feng shui, but perhaps even more mathematically complex. The principles of Vastu dictate that spaces should be designed in harmony with the natural forces, earth, water, air, fire, and space. The mandala, again, is used as a tool to create balance and symmetry. Homes, temples, and even cities were designed with precise geometric guidelines to ensure positive energy flow, or Vastu Purusha Mandala. The Brihadeshwara Temple, built by the Chola dynasty in the 11th century, stands as one of the greatest examples of symmetrical precision in Indian architecture. The temple's towering vimana, or tower, rises over 66 meters, and yet every aspect of its design adheres to strict geometric proportions. The geometry in the Brihadeshwara Temple is a study in proportionality. The architects used a system of harmonic ratios to design everything from the height of the vimana to the placement of sculptures, ensuring a visual and spiritual harmony. The temple is perfectly aligned along the east-west axis, capturing the rising and setting sun, which again ties the structure to celestial movements and cosmic order. Indian architecture doesn't just blend geometry and symmetry for aesthetics. It's a dialogue between the physical and the metaphysical, the material and the spiritual. Whether it's the towering gopurams of Dravidian temples or the stone chariot wheels of the Sun Temple, every element is designed to invoke a sense of wonder and reflection. Even in the smallest architectural details, like the repeating pillars of temple corridors, we see the intricate symmetry that symbolizes infinity and continuity. These pillars create a visual rhythm that leads the eye toward the sanctum, inviting us to meditate on the infinite nature of the divine.
In modern times, the ancient belief that structure should harmonize with the universe should persist. Symmetry and geometry remain as relevant as ever, reminding us that architecture is not just about buildings. It's about how we shape space, culture, and even time.
Indian architecture, from ancient temples to palaces to courts and houses, is a symphony of geometry and symmetry, a conversation between human creativity and the divine. It reminds us that numbers and shapes are not just abstract concepts. They're the foundation upon which beauty, belief, and culture are built. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.